man, real estate say shit. You already know what's going on. So on Friday, rapper GOONEW from the DMV was tragically shot and killed in Maryland, man. We got to get into the information and the beef that could have led to this. But before we do, I'm going to need y'all to like, comment, subscribe, and we going to run it up. So if you aren't familiar with DMV rappers, GOONEW is definitely one of the underground, like, big people coming out of the DMV right now. So this type of situation happening is really sad because, you know, like, he was kind of carrying the sound for a while. He was definitely lit. One of the most lit, like, people coming out of the DMV, coming out of Maryland. I feel like when it comes to the DMV specifically, like, Maryland itself doesn't really get that much a shine. I mean, maybe Baltimore, but like areas like Prince George County and shit like that, other parts of Maryland, they don't really get as much shine as other parts. So seeing this happen is like really sad. He had a lot of like cool ass shit. He was a good ass music. Like, he had good ass music, man. So it's just like really sad. I mean, it's not totally like a shock because like GOONEW was definitely like in the streets. He had like a whole other situation where he got shot and stuff, but we're gonna get into all that, man. So let's get into it. So basically, GOONEW dead. DMV rapper shot and killed almost a year after almost dying from gunshot. So that's what I was saying before about like last year. There was a whole scare where he was basically shot, I think multiple times in Maryland, and people thought that he was gonna die from that. And then now he's out and free and he gets shot again. So it's really sad. He was shot and killed in District Heights, Maryland, man. And it's just like discouraging for real. Prince George County Police Department tweeted about a shooting that occurred Friday night. At approximately 5:40, officers responded to the area for a report of a shooting. Once on scene, they located an adult male suffering from a gunshot wound. The victim was taken to the hospital for life-threatening injuries. At approximately 7:30 p.m., the victim was pronounced dead. The rapper was killed nearly a year after allegedly suffering from gunshot wounds that almost killed him prior. So it's really sad, but the police are currently seeking any information regarding Friday's shooting. They are currently investigating the death as a homicide, according to reports by GOONEW's loved ones. Prince George County Police Department has yet to confirm the identity of the victim, but everyone there basically already knows that it's him, man, because he had like an up and coming career, and like everyone thought that he was gonna make it out of there. He definitely, like, it wasn't like he was an angel or anything like that. He was really in the streets. Like, he, as you see, like, he got shot like another time, and people thought that he was gonna fucking die like previously, and that shit was only like last year. So I mean, it's definitely, I'm not saying that it was something that was like expected, but it's definitely not completely a surprise because he was really about that shit. He had a lot of beef with like a lot of other rappers in the DMV area. Basically, the most notable of the beefs that GOONEW had was like the beef that he had with Q the Fool, which is another like DMV based artist. And literally like right before his death, he basically had an IG live where he basically went off and was basically dissing him right before he got shot and killed.
And then the story behind that jail, you gotta become a man behind that jail, bro. When you get locked up in jail, you gotta become a man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta become a man. So I'm just letting you niggas know. I ain't gotta say too much. Nah, they just only talking about some cute this, cute that, bro. These niggas is scared of me, bro. So I just had to let them know, like, bro, I really be having these niggas in jail, not coming out they cell, and these niggas not eating their food. Niggas bank, niggas kicking the door just to cause the scene so the lieutenant can come get them off the unit.
Now, we don't know if that has anything to do with it, but they have a long-standing beef and shit. I mean, it's been known. I thought that they had a beef and then they were cool, and then they like started beefing again, I guess, because I thought that there was a period where they weren't beefing or something. But he basically went off and was like sort of like dissing him in an IG live, and people believe that that could have possibly been what caused his death, because it was literally a couple hours right before he died, man. He definitely like probably had situations that were even like had beef that wasn't even scene in the music, because sure, you have beef with like rap people and stuff, but it's like an iceberg, you feel me? Like, just because you have beef with like other artists within the rap world of where you're from and shit, like, that's just the tip of the iceberg. And then below the iceberg is like fucking 90% bigger than the tip, which means like, yeah, he could have had beef with like other artists and shit, but that's just like music shit. Like, he probably was really in the streets, really doing shit, I mean, it seems like it people really had a death wish for him, like people were trying to shoot him before and then they finally got him, man. It's just like fucked up. And I feel like the thing about it is like, I don't know, this is just another example basically of like an artist getting killed in the city that they're from, it really be in those places. I mean, he probably would have been able to branch out and go to like a move and shit and like go be like a bigger artist in a different city, maybe move to LA or New York or some shit like that. But like at the end of the day, you still have family in like Maryland or like where you're originally from, because it's not just Maryland. This happens to like hella artists. This is like the 5th artist this year that this has happened to, so it's just like crazy. But at the end of the day, people have family and in these places that they grew up in, and they don't really want to leave, because there's nothing like the love that you get when you're like in your city, like it is a different type of love than you'd get in like LA or some shit like that. But when you move to LA, you're able to branch out and you'll reach a bigger audience, and you don't have to, I mean, yeah, you still have to look over your shoulder and shit, but you don't have to worry about getting caught up in old beef. Because I feel like LA, New York, you could get caught up in shit, but I feel like there's nothing like the people that want you dead like in your hometown, because those niggas like know where you stay, know where you be at and shit like that, and it's like accessible as fuck. It's just, man, super sad. Like, pray for his family, pray for everyone around him, man, his fans and shit. It's just like kind of depressing, because he really like, I don't know, he had a new sound. Like, he really, I felt like could have came up and like really took over on this music shit, but it's just another life cut short to gun violence and shit, which is no surprise. It seems like life imitates art, art imitates life. The rappers that are in this scenario, people wonder why they be dying and shit. I feel like Vince Staples kind of said like important piece. I don't know if Gooneww was signed or anything like that, but he basically said this a day ago, basically in an interview, that like no one really cares about rappers, like street rappers. They just kind of invest in street rappers and listen to it and shit, but it's not like they give them advice or like life insurance or anything like that. Like, these niggas are really like in the streets. That's why they're kind of like, these labels push that shit, because they know that they're more valuable when they're dead. Not saying that he's signed, I don't really know his record situation, but like, like the labels, they push people that are basically a high risk of dying, because then they own all their music and then they fucking get all the money after they die. But it's sort of like that. On top of that, the fans want to see people really beef and really be in the streets and shit, because it's exciting to them, but they don't realize that this is like real life, you feel me? People really die and they don't come back. It's not a game, really. So it's just another person, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's more, but we just got to shed light on his circumstances and like his music, because like while he was alive, he really did his thing, and he could have just been a hood nigga that just did hood shit, but he decided to try to make a change for himself and leave behind a legacy and shit and fucking make hella music. So we got to appreciate that at the end of the day. But just know, like, people really be living that life, and just because they rap about it doesn't mean that it's fake. I mean, there are people that rap about it and it are fake, but then there's people that rap about that shit and it's really real, and when they're gone and shit, like, sure, it's not a huge surprise because they're really in the streets, but it's like, you just gotta give them their flowers while they're here and shit, especially when they're on this type of shit. Hopefully, like, his music situation isn't something where labels own like the fucking music and he's in the not independent. I would hope that he's independent so his family can get the money from his music and shit, because like streams go up when you die and shit. But who knows, man? Let me know in the comments what your favorite song was, man. Real stay safe shit. You already know what's going on. Pray for his family and all his friends and everything, man. You already know. Peace.